Very good. Just keep doing that. Good technique. You're holding your finish. You're just duplicating. You're copying the same form over and over. Now let's say that you wanted to hit the ball slightly further. What do you adjust? What you adjust is the length of your backswing goes a little bit further back. But you still do the other parts pretty much the same. You still swing through it and hold your finish. So let's do a few where you have a bigger backswing. And that should generate a little bit more forward force. Okay? So a little bigger backswing and get a sense of more force going forward. Yes, let's copy that one. I like that one. Hold that finish a little bit longer for me. That was a really good. Andrea, I really like your chipping technique. You adopted many of the fundamentals that I look for. I really like the small swing, gentle follow through. You held your finish most of the time. That's something you can still work on a little bit, is try to hold the club forward in its forward final stopping point. Hold that just a little bit longer and don't recoil it back quite so much. The only thing I want to talk about now is your setup posture. Like in putting, you stand a little bit too tall. I would like you to have a little bit more angle here. This is Tiger hitting a little chip shot, a little pitch shot. He is about 12 degrees tilted more than you, and he will create, you can see a little bit of a gap between his belt buckle and his elbows right there, and you're jammed in pretty close. I would like you to get a little bit further away from the golf ball and not crowd yourself quite so much for these shots. So next time we will work on just tilting a little bit more so that your arms would swing out away from your waist just a little bit more. Have a little bit more gap between the butt end of the handle here and your legs. I want to have you expand your swing a little bit. Do a practice swing, no ball. And I want you to have the hands come almost waist high on the finish. Yes, just kind of finish. It doesn't have to be, it can be actually turned just a little bit so the club is kind of like that. But you're going to swing the handle higher on the finish. Let's make the ball go a little further. But still the same technique. Yeah, so you're going to swing through for a little bit further distance before you stop. Okay? And on the bigger swings, I do want you to go ahead and put both feet flat. But the thing that'll help is if you get the feet very close to each other. There you go. That's where I want. Let's see you do a couple of shots. I want the camera to see that higher finish. Yes, very good. Just pulling it, just have a nice, consistent swing. I want you to swing your chest at the ball. Let me borrow this just for a second. So I basically want you to feel like you're swinging your chest through. So my elbows are right in front of my chest, and they stay there. This and this are connected. I don't want you to disconnect them. So here's my sternum. I'm going to swing that sternum forward, and this stays right in front of my chest. It's in front of my chest. Front of my chest, front of my chest. I'm never going to stop the chest and then throw that past my chest. I want to kind of see what you do well already naturally. So I want you to just swat that tee for me. Just take it back and try to break it. Very good. Take it back and break it. Good. Now break that tee that's the ball sitting under the ball. Pretty much the same swing that you were just using. And good. Very good.
Although I did hit the tee.
It's all right. You hit something. A lot of people that start out, they can't hit anything. They have trouble hitting stuff. Now you're going to the range.
changing swing balls, haven't you?
This still feels
Now, we're going to talk about, there's a terminology called ball position. That means go ahead and set up that golf ball, for example. Right now, you have the ball kind of positioned between your feet, right in the center. I could move the ball. I could say, let's have a ball position of sitting it off your right toe. So it'd be right here. I could say, have a ball position where it's sitting off your left toe. It would be right here. You have the center, you can have it back, you can have it forward. With the driver, I always want your drive off your left toe.
okay.
So you're going to feel like you're behind the ball, not even. Okay? So we're just going to swing it down a few times. So I want you to back it. You're still a little, I want you to move this way a little bit further. And I want you to widen your stance slightly. Okay? I want you to have a better foundation for your swing. And just do the best you can now and hit that golf ball. Good. Very.
Okay, Andrea, I'm going to look at your swing before I made any adjustments and then compare it to some of the changes we made. On the left was your swing when we started. And first thing we talked about was the ball position. Right now, you're on the left, your ball position is right between your feet. And with the driver, when the ball's sitting up on a tee, you want to be able to swing up on it, and that requires the ball to be a little bit more forward. So I suggested putting it out there off your left foot. And so that was the first change we made, was moving your ball to your left foot for the driver. Now when the ball's on the ground, then you will want it more between your feet.
Okay. Good. I want to watch that one a little bit. That's your best one.
How far do I want to be just so it lines up like that?
I want you to feel like your arms are extended. I want you to feel like you have, bent elbows. You do have a tendency to stand a little bit too tall instead of tilting over a little bit more. Yeah, that's a little bit better. That would back you up a little bit by doing that. Yeah, that's better. I want to have you work on just one new thing today. Well, I like everything you're doing. The only thing that you're doing that I would want to work on, so that you're always working on something. Right now, when you go back, you're going back to about right here, very low backswing. What if you took it back further, where the club is almost above your shoulders? Let me see a practice swing where you took it back further. Well, so I want you to come up to here.
Oh.
See? This will give you a little bit more power. Yes. Do a practice swing. Let me hear a loud swish with you. Yes, very good. You make this new movement familiar. And that'll make it go further.
Now, Andrew, the only other change I made in your swing was in lengthening the backswing. On the left was your swing before I made that change. So let's take a look at that. So as you go back, this left arm is here. And you do have a really good angle. I like that angle in the shaft in the left arm. Then we made the change where you went back, you worked on going back a little bit further. You can see how your club now is back here. Now there are some issues with that you're bending this arm, but you did take it back further. And we only spent a few minutes with the driver. The next time we meet, we'll work more on the full swing and less on the putting and chipping, because there are some important fundamentals that I need to put into your swing at the beginning that we just didn't have a chance to do. But you have a solid foundation of fundamentals to work with. Then as you came through, nice extension through the ball. those are good positions. I'm now going to do a brief comparison of your swing in certain spots of the backswing and follow through. Compared it to Grant Wade, who is considered having one of the best swings in golf during the 90s when he played on tour. He's now one of the top instructors of players. So let's take a look at what Grant does in his setup. Your setups are fairly similar. You have nice extensions in your arm at the setup. I like that a lot. The only thing that's a little bit different is Grant flares this left foot out a little bit, and yours is pretty square. So one of the things I would adjust the next time I see you is I'd have you turn your foot out a little bit. It makes it easier to shift your weight to the left side. I'm going to take Grant back, and I'm going to stop it when his left arm is basically parallel to the ground here. And going to do the same with you and take it back. Right now your arm is very straight, and when it's parallel to the ground, it's in pretty good shape right there. You actually have your shaft further back than Grant does. And one of the reasons that your shaft is looking the way it does is that you have a little tendency to bow this left wrist. The back of your left wrist is bowing and not staying flat. And so you're kind of curling that wrist in a little bit, and that's going to put the club in an unusual position. And we'll work on that the next time. It's not a major thing right now. As Grant continues back to the top of his swing, he keeps that left arm somewhat straight right here. And as you come back, you start to bend that a little bit, and a lot of it's because of the way the wrist has bowed a little bit. That's what caused the elbow to bend. As Grant comes through and has impact right there, you can see he returns to a very nice extension in both arms. And you come through with a pretty good extension, not quite the same as Grant, but not too bad, not too bad. There's just a little bit of separation of the elbows, and we'll make that better and better. I do like the fact that you are on your left side, you're off the back foot, you moved your weight to your left, on top of your left foot. If we look at Grant, we can see that red line off his left foot is going right through his belt buckle, the center of his body, just as yours are, because you definitely want to have your weight on your left foot at impact and post-impact, which you do. That's an outstanding advanced movement. As you continue to your follow-through, you have a nice finish. As Grant finishes, you can see how your shoulders have turned all the way through. Your belly button is facing the target just like Grant's is. Very good. You're off that back foot. Grant's on the tip of his toe. You're on the tip of your toe right there. Very good. It is okay at the very end to look up and look out at your target. So that would be fine. Grant's looking with his eyes at the finish and standing up very tall. And so that's something you can add it to put a little finish on your follow-through.